Hello, my name is Jeff Martin. I'm here with Philip Wills from Catalent. Tell me about what Catalent is doing.
So yes, we are a global CDMO, but one of our specialties is within the CGT space. We have a division within the biologics group, which is about half of the services that we offer on the biologics side, where we focus on a complete integrated offering within the CGT space. So we have cell therapy manufacturing, viral vector manufacturing, plasmid to support those, as well as iPSC technology.
So there are a lot of competitors in this space.
Yes.
What sets Catalent apart from the rest of the crowd?
Yeah, I would say that the two areas that I always like to highlight as being our differentiators are our experience with late stage programs. There aren't any other CDMO that actually have taken an AAV gene therapy to commercial launch, and we've actually done it, twice, and we have another two that are launching this year, along with quite a few others that will be in the following years. So, that experience I think is invaluable. I mean, just knowing that the facility has been inspected and approved for these types of products. And then also, as you're going through late stage development, there are a lot of hurdles that pop up. Having someone that's been there and done that before and is able to kind of help steer you away from those hurdles, I think is very valuable. And again, that's one advantage that we believe we have. And the second then is our platform process. So one of the ways to try to mitigate some of that late stage hurdles and things like that is to actually develop and use a proper process at the very beginning. So finding someone who has a platform process that you can go into that can then translate later stage to a commercial process. And so that was, along with other things that we put into the platform process, that was one of the key drivers, is really having something that is commercially viable right from the get-go.
So when you say platform process, do you mean a process that can scale as you do? Is that what you mean?
So the platform process means a way to increase speed to clinic. So rather than doing development at the beginning and spending a lot of time, developing process, having that pretty much predetermined, having the batch records already pre-written and ready to go, having an MCB, a master cell bank for your clients already, so you could just pull a vial and go. You don't have to actually generate one and release it. Having plasmid, so having a helper plasmid, having some off-patent rep caps already, GMP ready, off the shelf, ready to go in. Those things help streamline. So we don't have to make an MCB, we don't have to run an engineering run, because again, it's a platform process. We run it routinely over and over again. But I think one of the areas that you will see is a differentiator in our platform process is that although we try to platform it, we try to make it very standardized, we do allow for some tweaking of some conditions that we have seen in the past make a big difference in terms of product quality, and having that built into the platform. So a lot of places you will find that is pretty much one size fits all, right? And they just, you run the process and whatever happens, happens. And to that end, they oftentimes add things like centrifugation as part of their manufacturing process, because that can be universally used and make up for a lot of sins in your process, but that doesn't translate then to a late stage process that really is commercially viable and friendly. So again, we have a way to kind of tweak those conditions, get it so it's fine-tuned so it can be commercially viable right from the get-go. So
I guess, like having a nice established platform process could be a double-edged sword, because it could be very rigid. But allowing for that being nimble and the customization would be very, very beneficial. What capabilities allow you to do that? Is it because it's been so established that you can kind of have those trapdoors in certain spots?
It is based upon a lot of experience. We've done over 80 AAV gene therapy programs, so we've seen a lot, and we've seen a lot of things that from one program to another program to another program pretty much always fall in line. And so those you can standardize. And then we've seen other things where this made a big difference. So this is where we have very targeted, DOE experiments to really optimize the conditions. So that allows for the generation of a platform process. It's all that know-how of what works, what's important, what you need to look at, and what could be like the viral filtration step, very plug and play. Your affinity capture step at the beginning, very plug and play. But that anion exchange step,
Right,
where
it's
you're
the
trying
same.
to empty, it's not the same. That's where you need some tweaking of buffer conditions,
Okay,
stuff like
got
that,
it.
to be able to remove the empty versus full. So
Sure.
that's where some tweaking is warranted. Then on the analytics, having a lot of those assays already pre-qualified,
Right.
ready to go, and all you have to do is show that is fit for purpose with respect to that particular product.
Right.
That also, again, streamlines things. But another point I really want to emphasize in terms of differentiators is the fact that a lot of others will also have their own cell line like we do and their own plasmids, but they won't let you take those elsewhere. So
Sure.
once you go there and you use this, for you then to decide, oh, I don't really like them, I don't think they have enough late stage experience, the ability to actually transfer to somewhere else later
you're, like, locked in.
you're locked in. And they don't make that clear
Right.
when you first talk to them. Even the process itself, sometimes they will not let you get the documentation that you need to actually
Interesting.
execute it elsewhere. So that would be something that you would not find with us. We are very much into the idea that it's a portability. Obviously there'll be fees, licensing fees associated with going to another provider, but if that's what you choose, you can.
Right.
The advantage to staying with us is that you don't pay the licensing fees. So
Sure.
the way is you use our stuff, you manufacture with us, we get our money from the manufacturing.
Yep.
But if you decide to go elsewhere, you are free. You're not free to do so, but
Right, you can't. You're not
You can.
Unable to do it.
You're enabled to do that.
Catalent's been around for a long time. I'm curious to get your perspective on where you see just the industry in general kind of moving towards. Are there any trends that you've been noticing? Anything like that's not good?
Yeah,
good
I
trends?
mean, obviously, it has not been as the times have been a little bit tougher than they were 6 or 7 years ago. I do think things are improving. I thought things were starting to improve last year. Definitely seeing things move in the even a more of a positive direction this year. But it is clear that where there is the most movement are things that are more de-risked. So
Sure.
if you've already gotten proof of concept data in clinical trials and you're seeing some good clinical efficacy, if there is a clear visibility to how this can be a viable commercial product, those are the types of programs that are getting the funding to push through the late stage development and to get to commercial launch. Those that are more based on animal studies and things like that, they're still struggling to find the initial funding that they need to get it into the clinic.
So do you think that this is like a could be a dumb question, but do you think that having a early established partnership with a company like Catalent would help with the funding? Could you get some kind of momentum there?
I've always thought so. I mean, I think it de-risks the program.
Yeah.
It gives those investors more confidence that that not only is it going to be done right, but it's going to be done right within a reasonable time period. That things won't take twice as long as you had budgeted and expected. That you should stay on track and get into the clinic as you originally had planned.
Right. So have you guys been looking to move earlier stage? You have a lot of experience with the late stage stuff, but
I mean, our bread and butter was the early stage, so we very much cater to the small virtual biotech companies. We are doing outreaches to VCs, try to make sure that they are aware. But at the end of the day, they defer to their CEOs, their management team of those companies to make that final decision.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about?
I guess the one last thing would be on the case management. As another differentiator that we have in the space. The case management was originally designed more for cell therapy because you have a lot of that vein-to-vein logistic challenges, and having someone that is monitoring that 24/7, having the real-time data, having the real-time temperature data, the GPS tracking, the end-to-end logistics documentation all prepared. That certainly makes a lot of sense in the cell therapy world, but we are finding that actually even on gene therapy, the fact that these products are worth so much money and you're having to ship them, overseas and have to go through customs or just across the country, making sure you're paying that little bit extra to get that white glove service and make sure nothing happens to it, to make sure that, that does get to the patients is a service well.
100%.
Yeah.
It's that insurance that you're not going to get snagged with something
At
you
the
didn't
very
expect.
end.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't know you guys offered that. Is that a newer thing?
It is something that we just begun to offer.
Okay.
Again, originally it was envisioned as to be something to really help with our cell therapy, because we see that as a huge need in that particular area, especially for the autologous therapies. But again, even for a gene therapy that can be frozen, the fact that those are worth millions of dollars, making sure that it gets there on time, making sure there's no issues,
right?
That is just makes you sleep better at night if you're the CEO, knowing that someone's watching it.
Well, thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing what you're doing in the future.
Great, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
excellent.
it.